10.
Bill Rizzuto throwing out the first pitch.
9.
Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Oh!
8.
Lawrence Peter Barra, known to everyone as Yogi, the star catcher of the New York Yankees.
7.
Here's the payoff pitch. This is it. There it goes. It's out of here.
6.
This ball club will be remembered by me forever because you have heart as big as this city and you showed what being New Yorkers is all about. God bless you.
5.
Hits in 56 consecutive games. That's an all-time record set by the Yankee Clipper Joe DiMaggio.
4.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
3.
Number 3 will never be worn by another Yankee player, but will go to America's baseball shrine at Cooperstown, New York.
2.
Derek Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single. Derek Jeter, where fantasy becomes reality.
1.
That's not the way it's going to be, George. Damn right it is. If you don't like it, you're fired. You haven't hired me yet.
Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees! Let's go Yankees!
Yeah, what is going on, everybody? It is yours truly, the Ace, and it's been 7 days since the New York Yankees, a little over a week, I should say, since the New York Yankees have gotten eliminated. And for the most part, the organization has been quiet. A lot of us have been wondering, where the hell are they? Where the hell is Hal? What's going on with Cashman and Aaron Boone? We haven't heard from them. And today's the day that we finally get the closing remarks that put an end to the 2025 season. I'm going to be on here talking about it as it drops, just to let you guys know. Cannot play the clips live. Do not want to get a copyright strike on the channel. But I will be playing clips as they drop on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Yes Network just dropped a couple of things. Brian Hoke just dropped a couple of things that we will get into as well. But before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe, as we are 15 subs away from the goal of 2,400. Shout out to my nephew Dre talking about already. They talking about BS. Are you surprised? I'm not, Dre. This is what the New York Yankees do. They spew a bunch of bullshit. Colin, what's going on? Theo, thanks for popping in. Says she appreciate you. So yeah, we're gonna be going over a couple of clips, couple of news updates. But before we get into that, this is what I want to hear, right? And let me know down in the comment section what you guys want to hear as well. Me personally, I need a couple things answered. Now, nothing they say is going to change the outcome of the 2025 season. It was a colossal failure. Yet another year where the Yankees fall flat on their faces. The Blue Jays went out there, handled their business. Congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. But it's another year where the New York Yankees fall short. And we're going to hear what kind of bullshit and excuses they have. Here's what I want to hear, right? Where can we get the press conference? Unfortunately, like I think it's on, I do know it's on YouTube. I do know BT and Sal are streaming it. I was going to stream it live, but I don't want to get in any trouble or anything like that. So John, thanks for the gift. Appreciate you. Here's a couple of things that me personally, I want to hear, even though nothing they say can change the outcome. Thank you, Silk Bells. Thank you for the 1 month membership. Appreciate you. Thank you for becoming a member for 1 month. A couple of things that I personally want to hear. I got to hear what's going on with the development of Jason Dominguez and what's the plan for him starting next year. That's one of the things that I need to hear. As Boone is currently talking right now, clips are dropping. Like I said, I will be posting them. Also got to hear about, they're going to talk about Anthony Volpe. That's a given. My nephew Dre was there. I already see some stuff as it's dropping right here. I need to hear about Anthony Volpe. Apparently we got some news on Carlos Rodon. I need to hear what's going on with Aaron Judge and a plan going forward. It's as simple as that. Like, what's the deal and what is going on? But before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe. All right, so the first thing we got from Brian Hoke. Good report over there. Brian Hoke says Aaron Judge would not need surgery Aaron Boone said he'll take some time off and continue to do strengthening things and rehab stuff. So for the most part, looks like the Yankees have dodged the bullet when it comes to Aaron Judge. For the most part, he will not need surgery. Of course, a lot of us remember that day where, you know, we got a little bit of the injury scare when Judge was wincing after the throw. And of course, he's the best player in the game. So for him to not need surgery, I feel like is a win for us. Definitely. He'll take some time off. Obviously, you know, Yankees have time off here and do some strengthening and rehab. Look, here's the thing, right? When it comes to the New York Yankees, we know the medical staff, for the most part, sucks balls. We know that, right? The last thing that we need, and you could take everything that the Yankees say with a grain of salt, for real, because like Aaron Judge not having to do, you know, just rehab. And the last thing we need is for them to think that he's okay for the most part. And it's a problem that continues into next year and a problem that might force him to miss significant time. That would be the worst case scenario. But at least for the most part right now, it looks like we might have dodged the bullet. John says they will use Judge until the strike. Well, yeah, we're going to have that conversation as well going down in the offseason, but definitely. Brian Hoke also goes on to report saying that Carlos Rodon had a procedure yesterday to shave down a bone spur in his left elbow. Aaron Boone said Rodon is expected to be delayed a few weeks to begin the 2026 season. So it looks like Carlos Rodon will be on the shelf as well. With Garrett Cole returning, Rodon, don't know how many weeks he's going to miss, but, you know, Rodon was a guy that was number 2 this year in wins. Obviously, in the postseason, he flamed out in the worst way. Now, will the Yankees use this as an excuse to why he pitched so poorly? We know as well, you guys know just as well as I do that this organization is full of the excuses when it comes to that. So it looks like Carlos Rodon will be missing that time in the beginning of the season. Brian Hoke also goes on to say Anthony Volpe had left shoulder surgery to repair the lumbar tear, which is what we know as well. He may be delayed to begin the season. It will be 4 months before he can hit again and 6 months until he can dive on the shoulder, is what Aaron Boone says. All right. I was talking about this to my nephew last night, and a similar situation that happened with Josh Young of the Texas Rangers. Same situation, same exact arm, non-throwing arm. For him, it took about 5 months for him to get back on the field and about 7 months of rehab. So it looks like here with Volpe, they're saying 4 months and 6 months. We'll ultimately see what's going to happen, but ultimately the Yankees got to have a plan. When Anthony Volpe ultimately decide to make a decision on Anthony Volpe, and you know as well as I do, the Yankees are going to have a placeholder for Volpe. You know that they're going to hold that spot for him. But that shouldn't be the case. The Yankees need to go out there and fix the shortstop position and stop worrying about fixing Anthony Volpe. Now, we all know what happened on that May day where Volpe, you know, dove for the ball, went down, was in pain, missed a game or two, and it was out there, and then his numbers tanked. Do you want to say his performance was terrible because of the injury? The numbers point to that, but what is it? When it comes to Aaron Boone came out here and said that this injury did not affect Volpe's play. So what is it? Is it the fact that somebody out there is lying to us in one way or form? Either he's more hurt, and it was once again malpractice by these team doctors to continue to put him out there. Same thing they did with Anthony Rizzo, Mark Leiter Jr. The list goes on and on and on and on with this New York Yankees team. Or if it didn't affect his play, then he just stunk. It's as simple as that. So what is it? Which one is it? And we do have some videos on here that my nephew did send me one, and we do have some videos that Yes is talking about. To start the press conference, Jack Curry asked the team about team expectations
internally, then you shared it publicly. Towards the end of the season, you described the 2025 team as maybe the best team you'd ever managed. You said it internally, then you shared it publicly. What prevented the team from living up to what you thought it would be?
Yeah, definitely the timing. Just in a lot of ways, it was a tough year to get to the place we wanted to get to as a club, and I really felt like we got there. in the final 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it was, where everyone was kind of coming together at the right time. I feel like, we had different ways of beating you on a given night. We were healthy for the most part going in, with at least who we started the year with. And then just, ran into a Toronto club that beat us. We couldn't, they ended up scoring a ton of runs against us in the 4 games that we played them, and just couldn't keep them off the board, and end up losing the series. So, it makes it very tough. Obviously the year before we get to the World Series, a very different team in a lot of ways than we were this year. Also a very good club that I felt was capable of winning it all. If a couple things go a different way, and, so those, that makes it especially tough, I think, when you get to the end, when you feel like, man, you have a team that could have gone deep and could have matched up and played with anyone, but we got beat, and we just had a hard time, obviously, keeping them off the scoreboard in the series. They put it on us off from an offensive standpoint, and we didn't have a good enough answer.
He sits up there, like I say, it just seems Aaron Boone is so full of shit. Like, this team had a lot of problems this year. And once again, it reared its ugly head June, July, August. September, you benefited from a very easy schedule, talking about some guys got things right towards the end, yada, yada, yada. But it's just more of the same shit. It really is. Like, yeah, I mean, you got to tip your hat to the Blue Jays at the end of the day. They straight up outperformed us, and, he's not taking any credit away from them. But this team was very flawed. Like, fundamentally, I do feel like we cleaned up a little bit, at least defensively, with Bellinger and Goldie, but this team severely underperformed. Like, with the amount of talent that this team had, like, on paper, like Aaron Boone and them, they might be right to an extent. On paper, like, yeah, we're one of the best teams out there, but this game isn't played on paper. It's as simple as that. Like, this team massively underperformed under Aaron Boone. And the fact that he's able to sit up here still on this press conference, and, I mean, obviously his ass ain't getting fired, but for him to be able to sit up there and just spew the nonsense, like, at this press conference is ridiculous. What's up, Savius? We got another clip right here.
The sequences, the decisions, or even the non-decisions.
This clip right here, Aaron Boone is asked about the ALDS.
When you reflect on that Blue Jays series, what are the plays, the sequences, the decisions, or even the non-decisions that stay with you the most?
Yeah, look, I think them just continuing to pressure us, and right from the jump, I felt like, we're behind. We're behind in games, and and that's in part a big credit to them. They whether it was hitting the ball out of the ballpark against us, whether it was putting the pressure on us by just continuing to work counts and putting the ball in play, they beat us. And so you always just comes down to they out execute us and outplayed us.
When you reflect on that
I mean, not just that, they straight kicked our asses. Like, Aaron Boone didn't have a response for it. Like, we saw it when I was doing the live play-by-play. They put belt through our ass. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. absolutely showed out. The only person there was 2 people that showed out on our team. Aaron Judge was one of them. Another one was Ryan McMahon, who I thought had a solid postseason. Everybody else severely underperformed. Like, Anthony Volpe, if he was injured, he should not have been out there. It's as simple as that. But for them to, especially when you got a viable option on the bench in Caballero, who performed well in his limited time in the postseason, like the lineups that you put out there, like, we were surprised that, like, we honestly, let's be honest. Now that's in hindsight, we were lucky to get past Boston with how we performed. And then we went against the Toronto Blue Jays team that all they do is make contact, and you can't sit there and strike guys out left and right. We got exposed. And it's something that the Yankees are going to have to look. Much like football, right? Any updates on Judge? Yeah, Aaron Judge, Bryant Hoke said he's not going to require surgery. He is going to rehab it. So for the most part, looks like we dodged the bullet on Aaron Judge. What's up, Jacob? Also, Jacob, can you drop the link to become a member down below? Appreciate you. DJ37, what up? Fire both them losers? Dude, they're not firing them. If Aaron Boone is having a press conference right now, his ass is not getting fired. As simple as this. But we got outperformed in the DS. As simple as that. We didn't even look like we were on the same ballpark in the same playing field as the Toronto Blue Jays. It was as simple as that. Like, they definitely look like a head and shoulders better team than what we put on the field, and it was ridiculous. Like, we got our asses kicked. And, I mean, you got to give credit to them, no doubt, but this team massively underperformed. Here's Aaron Boone, the latest on Anthony Volpe, which they did say Volpe will be missing.
Aaron, what's your understanding for the recovery time for Volpe? Will he have a normal spring training, or will he come in a little bit behind?
Probably a little behind. The schedule would be for him to start hitting in 4 months, which would put us at middle of February. So at the start of spring, he'll start hitting. The last thing, but he can't dive on it or anything until 6 months is kind of the. But I think we'll also have a better idea at the 3-4 months if that timeline moves up a little bit, if it delays a little bit. But right now it's 4 months until he's swinging, until he's hitting again. So my expectation that he would be delayed to start the season or starting a rehab assignment when we're starting the season. But we'll have a better idea of that in probably 3-4 months in as it heals.
Yeah. My advice, take your time. Take your time. And he didn't commit to Volpe as a starting shortstop, nor should he. And like you and I talked about, dude, you and I had talked about this. Anthony Volpe should not be given the reins of the shortstop spot, right? If he goes out there, rehabs, earns it, so be it. You live with it. But the Yankees have to solve the shortstop spot and not try to solve Anthony Volpe. Stop trying to put that square peg in the round hole that is Anthony Volpe if it's not fucking working. It's as simple as that. Like, no doubt, the kid's got heart, no doubt. To go out there and you're not having a procedure if you're not really injured, which, like I said, is malpractice on the Yankees. Thank you, Jacob, for dropping the link. But the kid, for the most part, they left him out there to dry. Like, no doubt, he stunk this year. There is no debating that. Anthony Volpe sucked this year. Do you want to say a large part of that was to the injury? Sure. But the Yankees absolutely left his ass out there to dry, especially when you had an option like Jose Caballero off the bench, who was a spark plug. Now, going forward, honestly, like, here's what I would do. Jose Caballero starting shortstop. He's under contract for a while. You also need to go out there and get yourself a stopgap type shortstop, which if you brought in a guy like IKF, I'd be okay with. Like a guy like IKF to come in off the bench as well until Volpe comes back and earns the job. He should not be handed, the second he gets back, Volpe's in the starting lineup. Absolutely not. If he's going to have some rehab starts, if he's playing well down there, bring him up, start him on the bench, especially if Jose Caballero is playing well. But what will the Yankees do? We know what they're going to do. We know that the second Volpe's coming back, Boone can't wait to sit here, put that pencil in the lineup, and he's going to be good to go. It's as simple as that. He's going to be good to go. But nah, he needs to go out there and he absolutely needs to earn it. Dre, my nephew Dre said, look at what you just sent me. Let me see. From Fireside Yankees, great channel. Aaron Boone on Jason Dominguez being every day in 2026. I'm sure that they're going to bring it up, and I'm going to bring that up and talk about it. I still really like his ceiling, but again, you've got to see where the winter takes you and what the roster looks like. I expect him to be a regular player for us, though. They said that same shit last year. Now, the Yankees have a problem with when you get a veteran that comes in here and plays consistent, like we've seen with the Alex Verdugo, who they thought, Trent Grisham, that type of stuff. Now, I do agree, Trent Grisham, with the year that he had a career year. He did deserve to get the first shot, but once he started struggling, you should have made the change. Jason Dominguez is a young guy that could be a spark plug for this team. I honestly, like L.I. Yankee King has been saying all year, and I agree. I think Jason Dominguez should be our leadoff guy. Like, I would send him to the Dominican League, let him go out there, get a whole bunch of reps, bat from the right side, play some outfield, and he's a guy that could be a spark plug. Like, the Blue Jays flat out beat us by being that contact team, not relying on overly on the home run. Jason Dominguez, his first at bat, gave one of the best hits in the postseason, smacked that double. Could you imagine if we had a whole postseason of that, set the table like that? Just a guy that can get on first steal, the young energy. But nah, the Yankees like the grizzled vets that flame out and strike, that play well for us in the regular season and strike out in the postseason. DJ37 said, never play fundamental baseball, hit and run steal. Yeah, the Yankees don't do that. You have to do the little things in baseball. It's as simple as that. What happened to Volpe? Volpe got hurt in May. What happened to Rodon? Rodon elbow problems apparently, so he's gonna be missing some time at the beginning of the year. We need another starter with the Rodon injury. I don't think I'm not at the case. Okay, think about it. When you're gonna get Garrett Cole back, right? You'll get Garrett Cole back. Then you're gonna get. Okay, well, wait, hold on. Maybe we won't. Hold on. Let me see what my nephew Dre just texted me. Who said this? And let's see. And I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Yankee Girl, thanks for popping in. Still misses the Yankees. So do we. All right, so
yeah, Garrett's doing well.
Boone
he will, I think.
Do you have an update on Garrett and his recovery process?
Yeah, Garrett's doing well. He will, I think he starts getting off the mound a little bit lightly next week. And then I think he'll have at some point here in the next few weeks, he'll have a deload back off session. He'll meet with Elatrage again when he goes back to California, probably sometime next month, and then before spring training. But he's on track to hopefully, when in spring training, at some point in spring training, hopefully we'll see him on the mound starting to face live hitters and start that progression and that ramp up. But so far, everything's gone according to plan. I wouldn't say, no, not opening day, but, hopefully not too far after.
Do you have an update on Garrett and his?
So if that's the case, you're going to be down opening day 2025 with no Garrett Cole, no Carlos Rodon. You got to go out there and get yourself another pitcher then. It's as simple as that. Who knows what's going on? Stephen B, what up? Who knows what's going on with Clark Schmidt? You're going to have Max Fried ready to go. Hopefully, knock on wood. Luis Hill, Cam Slittler. They're also going to have Will Warren. Army Joe, what up? You're also going to have Will Warren that they're going to throw out there to start. Maybe one of the guys comes up from... Here's the thing. If these guys are going to come back quickly, like Garrett Cole is going to miss the beginning of the season, Carlos Rodon, they just said is going to miss the beginning of the season as well. Same thing as last year. You don't need to go out there and get yourself a top-end starter. Now, if one becomes available to you and you can't resist, then that I understand. But you have to go out there and get this team ready. It's as simple as that for 2026 because that lockout is coming. What about Cole? They just said Cole's not going to be ready. So he's making some strides for it, but he's not going to be ready. So you got to go out there and get yourself a middle-of-the-road starter. That's what I'm thinking. You got Fried, you got Cam, you got Luis Hill, be at top of the rotation. They're going to have Will Warren, who's probably going to be the number 4. I don't trust him to anything higher than that. At least until these reinforcements come back. So you might have to get yourself a middle of the road starter, which is another video we're gonna have to make. Which starter would the Yankees potentially get in free agency or via trade? But we'll see. Here's another one about Aaron Boone asked if he envisions Anthony Volpe being the Yankees starting shortstop once he's healthy. Let's see.
And hopefully he has that.
Understanding his season may be delayed. Do you still see Volpe as your starting shortstop going into next year?
Yeah. I mean, he's right in the mix to do that. So I think one of the things that I'm proudest about for Anthony is, obviously it was a very tough season, for him in a lot of ways. And I think he got a lot of, arrows thrown his way. And I always feel like he handles those things so well. And really for the first time since he's been here, because I think it's important to know like how good a defender he's been. And he went through a stretch of 4 to 6 weeks where he struggled on that side of the ball. He made some, errors that he shouldn't have made, some key spots where he made some mistakes. I think it's really important to note that how well he played on defense the final 8 weeks of the season, very much in line with who he's been in the 3 years that he's been our shortstop. So the defense, I feel like, really returned to a level that we've come to know with Volpe after going through some tough moments there in the middle of the season. The offense is, really in line with what he's done the first 2 years. It's looked a lot of different ways, but you kind of look up the same, and it's been that kind of same OPS, whether the average has been lower, there's been more power in some years. For him to become, that frontline shortstop, that's got to improve. He understands that. We understand that. And hopefully he has that opportunity to continue to do that. I also think it's important to note, and we talk about this around different players and different things throughout the year, like he's 24 years old. There's a lot of guys, first picks, we see in this game all the time. It's just not this linear trajectory all the time where you get to the big leagues and you're the guy that's supposed to be. And, the reality is he's a really talented player that works his butt off, that has tremendous makeup, tremendous toughness, and is a great person in our room. And I'm going to bet on that. That said, it hasn't happened offensively speaking to the level it needs to yet. But doesn't mean it won't get there. I think Zill and I were talking, Dansby Swanson, who's become obviously one of the game's, very similar start to his career offensively. It doesn't always just happen right away. So continue to work alongside him and hopefully, get him to that point. But we'll see how the roster takes shape though this winter and, see where we go.
I can't with this dude, man. Like, for real. Did they not watch the same shit that we watched this year? Now, I'll agree that the defense at the end cleaned up, but you can't take away the entire body of work. He led the league. He was one of the league leaders in errors this year. Like, you can't disqualify that. You can't. Like, he's digressed. He's regressed. Like from year 1 to 2 to 3, this one was worse, especially in the postseason. Like the postseason, it wasn't like he wasn't even taking major league at bats on how bad it was. How many times did he strike out in the DS? Double digits, definitely. I forget off the top of my head how many times he struck out, but he was a strikeout machine. Like he definitely regressed in his play. What's up, Armani? Ken, what up? Says Yankees got hammered by the Jays in the postseason. We did. We absolutely did. Our starters couldn't go deep. For the most part, we thought our bullpen was going to be an issue, and the bullpen mostly held out, but our starters were the problem. But, when it comes to Anthony Volpe, it's going to be the same shit. The Yankees are going to sit there, and they're going to give him the reins as soon as he comes back. As soon as he comes back, he's going to get the reins for the shortstop spot. We know it. And I feel bad for guys like Jose Caballero. Like, Jose Caballero needs to go out there and bowl, but the Yankees will still go out there and give the job to Anthony Volpe. Swanson only had 2 years under OPS of 700. Volpe's already had 3. That's what I'm saying. But they're gonna put an explanation. They're gonna put an asterisk on this season, though. They're gonna put an asterisk on this one. Volpe was injured. That's what they're gonna say. Well, if he was injured, his ass shouldn't have been out there. So what is it? This shit is like the excuses flow out of their mouth. The Yankees are so full of caca. Like they really are, man. Whereas Volpe's hitting coach is ruining it. It's the Yankees organization in general that's ruining him. So far, just to recap, Carlos Rodon is going to be missing some time. Garrett Cole's not going to be ready. Volpe might miss some time as well. This is going to be a very important offseason for the New York Yankees. And I'm going to be sticking around when... Did we hear this already?
Understanding his season may be delayed. You still see Volpe as your starting shortstop going?
Yeah, we heard this one already. Yes, posted it. Analytics, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Let's see. Okay, first one from Brian Cashman today.
You started with the Yankee organization. I know I don't have to remind you that obviously you started with the Yankee organization under George Steinbrenner, and he always had the World Series mandate. So after a season where you won 94 games, succeeded in the wild card round, but fell short in the division series round, how would you describe this season?
We've had success and failure. Obviously, failed in our ultimate goal.
Take away the success. Just say failure.
Obviously, along the way, we had a good team.
What's success? What's success? I want somebody put in the comments that what's success? What do you guys think was successful this year? Success and failure. It was a failure. Like, this team won 94 games. You didn't win a division. You barely got out of the wild card round. Like, how do these guys gauge success? Maybe it's different from what we used to do. And I mean, John says politically rehearsed answers. We know that they might as well be reading off a fucking teleprompter. Like, what's success? That's what I want to know. Like, this season was a colossal failure because going into the season, I wanted to see two things, right? I wanted to see a World Series championship, obviously, and the development of Jason Dominguez, right? You failed on both of those parts to me. Stephen B says only success is developing Cam, Rice, and Will Warren. I wouldn't even say Will Warren. Will Warren didn't have that great of a year. If you want to say Cam and Rice, sure, I can see that. But that's two players. That's two players. Like, it's the same shit. I wanted to see the Yankees win a championship and go out there and figure out Jason Dominguez. Trent Grisham at the detriment of Jason Dominguez, which is what I was saying the entire time. Now we have no idea what Jason Dominguez is. This season, to me, was a colossal failure.
Success and failure. Obviously failed in our ultimate goal and had some success, obviously. Along the way, we had a good team that but fell short of our ultimate goal. So, I leave it for the masses to debate, what it ultimately came out of. Proud of a lot of things we accomplished and players that we, I knew that they were fighting. They were talented, they were fighting, they were committed, and but wasn't good enough.
Mediocrity.
I know I don't have to remind you that obviously.
Okay with mediocrity. That's what it boils down to. We had some success. We sold out. We sold a shit ton of chicken buckets. Guys performed well. Not all of them. Not all of them. There are a lot of guys took a step back. Volpe, Wells. Terrible. The young guys that we want to see take a step forward. Now, there were guys like Ben Rice that emerged. But overall, like Mass T says, 3 lefty catchers. This team, man, and it starts with Brian Cashman. It actually starts with Hal. Hal Steinbrenner still is not showing up. Like, he's not there. I'm starting to be concerned about Hal. Where the hell is he? Because we haven't seen him except to kiss Donald Trump's ass. Maybe Donald Trump needs to come back to the Yankees so Hal can come out of his cave. Because this shit is ridiculous, man. This shit is ridiculous. Where's the analytic guy? That's what I want to see too. Bring out the nerds. Let's hear the nerds talk about some shit. You hate how arrogant it is? You hear it too, right? You hear it in his voice. I want them. Look, somebody's got to ask him about Anthony Volpe. How did you think Volpe performed after that whole thing where, you were pretty much slamming on the table for him? How you feel now? How's that look? Proud of what? They didn't perform. They gave up all the crap. Yeah, Siciliano says. Exactly. Like, the Yankees will sell you on mediocrity and claim that we're good, right? If you never watched a game of baseball in your life, and you just had to listen to Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone tell you how it is, you think the Yankees were undefeated. We're the best team out there. They're full of shit. They really are. And until they take accountability, man, this team is not going anywhere. Everything Yankees says, no expected procedures for Giancarlo Stanton. That's great. Hopefully he can just rehab through some of those. But guys, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you guys are new, sub up. I'll be covering the Yankees all season long. All right, here's Brian Cashman on areas the Yankees want to improve on next season.
Brian, you said talking about attacking areas of weakness from where you said, what are your areas of weakness going into the off season?
I'm not gonna
bullpen. We need bullpen. Our depth. I like Jose Caballero, but he's gonna be our shortstop next year. At least to start. So we got to get some different depth. I wouldn't mind bringing IKF back for that role, that backup role. I wouldn't mind that. Another contact guy. That's what we need. We need more contact backs as well. We need less power and more put the ball in play because we were terrible this year with runners in scoring position. We really were. So we need more contact. Dre, I think I'm playing this one that you just sent me right now. We need more contact. Bullpen, obviously. Middle of the road starters is what we need as well. We got to figure out Cody Bellinger. He's priority number 1 for me. Quan can lead off in front of Judge. That would be nice, but you got to give up something for him. Which at this point in time, do what you got to do. Like, I wouldn't mind, honestly, if the Yankees went out there and traded for a shortstop. You can't give Anthony Volpe the job like that. I was talking to my nephew. I wouldn't mind if we hit up Colorado and go get Tovar, who had a good year, but the year before last. This year, not so much. Gold Glover as well. Go out there and get Tovar. But you can't just hand the reins over. Third base, we're good with that. Ryan McMahon, especially after the postseason he had, I'm okay with that. Second base, you got Jazz. First base, you got to decide what you want to do with first base and catcher. Are you gonna give Ben Rice the job at first base? Are you going to give him the job at catcher? Personally, I would love for him to catch. Get rid of Austin Wells. Personally, I'd bring back Cody Bellinger's priority number one. I'd pay Cody like an outfielder, put him at first base. You could also obviously platoon him in the outfield as well. You got to figure out what you're going to do with that. I wouldn't personally mind bringing back Goldie on like a 5-6 year deal, have him play off the bench, just off the bench and against lefties. If Cabrera's not back in time, I wouldn't mind bringing back Ahmed Rosario. Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette is what Ciliano says. I would go all in on Kyle Tucker. I would. But Bellinger would be priority number one. Who's to say you can't get both? Who's to say you couldn't get both? Go out there and get Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker. Stick Jason. Maybe we have a team where Rice behind home plate. I'm okay with that. Bellinger at first base. I'm great with that. Left field, Kyle Tucker. Center field, Dominguez. Right field, Aaron Judge. Couple years from now, Aaron Judge can go to first base. Bellinger goes to right field. I'm okay with that. Bellinger's number one priority to me. Trade Spencer Jones for some assets, some good pitching, some stuff like that. Got to solidify the bullpen. Personally, I know a lot of you guys don't like him, but I'd bring back Devin Williams. Devin Williams pitched well for us in the postseason. All things considered, I'd bring back Devin Williams. But yeah, we're gonna have to make some moves. But let's see what he says. That's personally
unpack that today.
Going into the off season.
I'm not going to unpack that today. We'll have some free agency that's going to hit.
And this is not that great of a free agent class. Not like last year. When Vlad signed, that made it. First of all, the year before last was Soto. That was the big name. Soto, Fried, a couple big names out there. This is not that great of a free agent class. Kyle Tucker is going to be at the top of everybody's list, no doubt. Dodgers might be interested. Mets might be interested as well. But this free agent class is not that exciting. The Yankees are going to have to make smart moves. Not the grand move. Make smart moves. Dylan Cease and King. I wouldn't mind bringing Michael King back. Don't believe the hype. They won't fool you again. Nor should they, Beetlebug, until they start proving differently. Nor should they.
I'm not going to unpack that today. We'll have some free agency that's going to hit. That'll create some vacancies. We have, got to weigh the available marketplace via free agency or trades with the committed payroll versus the available payroll thereafter. And again, measure opportunities. Some players, knocking on the door, earning the right maybe to take the next step from down below. Obviously at the same time, just trying to weigh what's available to us and if we can get our hands on it, in competition via trade or free agent dollars.
Brian, you said
that kind of feels like to me, especially with that last comment. Oh, we believe in our prospects. We believe. Steve, what up? McMahon strikes out too much. He does, but he played well for us in the postseason and plays great defense. So for $16 million a year, you're going to get a guy defensively, and you take whatever he can get in the offense. He was one of our best hitters when it came to the postseason. But that last comment by Brian Cashman sounds like to me like we're gonna rely on the Jason Dominguez's, the Spencer Joneses of the world, that type of stuff. A lot of people are for that. It just depends. If you're gonna do it all the way. But honestly, I would bring back Cody Bellinger. Prospect huggers. I mean, you know that's what they do. They want to hug the prospects, but they don't want to. They don't want to play them at the same time because they get themselves a veteran. They don't want to play him.
Little bit.
Here's Boone on Clark Schmidt and Garrett Cole.
And then Garrett's doing well. I think he starts getting off the mound a little bit.
We heard
lightly next week. Hopefully not too far after.
Sorry, Joe.
Clark Schmidt. Clark is.
Gotta ask about Clark Schmidt.
Also doing well. I think he's 14 weeks post-op. So I think he'll start his throwing program in mid-December. I don't know what the final timeline. He's more second half of the season, obviously. But yeah, he's doing well.
It wouldn't surprise me if Clark was trade bait. Like when he gets back, Stan's pay is going down. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have our cap is going down. A lot of guys are off the books. Stanton's pay is going down as well. Cabrera returning? He should be returning. I don't know what the timeline is on him though. All right, here's another one from Cashman. Brian Cashman, if asked if Cody Bellinger is the top priority, is all.
Who's an impact player for
He's
us.
number one for me.
Cash,
number one for me.
Would you view securing Bellinger this winter as a top priority for you?
He was an impact player for us. I'm glad we got him. Certainly expect him to opt out. I don't know. We haven't gotten to those conversations yet. We're in the HR version of our, winter so far. We will be scheduling all our internal discussions on roster assessments, player-wise, and then again, looking what we have from within and exploring what we have outside. But I can just tell you, he was really impactful for us, no question about it. One of the many reasons why, we're in a position to believe that, we were capable of great things this year when the dust settled. And so I thank him for everything he's done, and certainly would love to have him with our team moving forward. But we haven't had any of those discussions. I haven't had any conversations with Scott Boras, but Bouquet is his way, without a doubt. He helped us on both sides of the ball, offense, defense. He's a versatile player. He was great in our clubhouse, and so.
Cash,
He needs to be priority number one.
Would you securing Bellinger?
He needs to be priority number one. Like, why didn't you preemptively have these talks? Like, Cody Bellinger was one of your best players that saved multiple games this year for us. A lot of games for us. That Mets one comes to mind. Played great defense. Was the guy that wants to be here. I think he'll return. My gut is telling me Cody Bellinger returns in some way, shape, or form. You can't look at what we just looked at in the DS and get rid of one of your contact guys. Like, we got demolished by the Blue Jays off of contact. Cody Bellinger is a guy that will put the ball in play. Like, you have to bring him back. And he's a guy that plays well defensively. He is a must return for me. Ceciliano says both Tucker and Bellinger, if they want to go all out, then enough is enough. JT to replace Austin Wells. We got to get another right-handed cat. We got to get a right-handed catcher. I'm all for Realmuto. I like that, Realmuto, especially because he's not going to be required to be the everyday catcher. Fireside Yankee says Aaron Boone mentions that he sees Ben Rice as their first baseman, but also notes that he's capable of catching and values the kind of flexibility. That, to me, they got to get rid of fucking Austin Wells, man. Like, oh yeah, he could be our first baseman because they fucking in love with Austin Wells, who fucking stinks. Like, get rid of that shit, bro. Now Cashman says he would lean into the injury affecting Volpe. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're gonna say. We know. But Aaron Boone told us that it didn't affect him. Brian Cashman's message to fans who won a World Series: we're just as hungry. We're just as disappointment. Bullshit. That's a lie. Lie detector determined that is false. Rice playing first. He's got to all off season work at it. Cause he's young enough that he can get it done. All off season work at it. And scooping is the biggest thing with him. But I do appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like, guys, if you haven't done so. If you guys are new, sub up. 13 subs away from 2,400. Yeah, we know. Dre, we got to start the pod already, man. Me and you talk about this shit all the time, dude. We know the Yankees gonna play us and sell us a bunch of shit. See if Brian Hogan's comment or anything else. Linlin, what's up? Regarding Anthony Volpe's left shoulder, Brian Cashman said the cleanup was more severe than the MRI results. They left this kid out there to dry, bro. These guys need to be called out. They do. But they're not going to have people in the room that call them out, dude. People that are will speak their mind, like you guys and yours truly, they're not allowed in that room. They're not. They'll lose their credentials quick as fuck if they go out there and try to call somebody out. You're excited for next year? Yeah, next year can't get here quick enough. Hopefully it's something different next year. I'm just looking to see if there's any more videos dropping. Is the press conference legit over now? I know WFAN was doing it live. Is it over? No, it's still going on. Adrian, what's good, my guy? And like I said, guys, I'm not doing the whole thing, just doing the clips and reacting to the stuff. Don't want to get hit with any type of copyrights, anything like that. But I do appreciate you guys for rocking with me. Like I said, it's gonna be the first of many of a lot of coverage from yours truly. Yeah, no, I see that it's not. I see that it's not. But moves need to be made. Aiden, what's up, man? Long time no see. Moves need to be made, man. The Yankees got to wake up and smell their own shit. Cashman says he sees Volpe at the start. Of course, he's gonna go for bat for him, bro. Of course, he's not gonna look foolish. Like, bro, come on. You saw how adamant this man was when they criticized Volpe, and he's sitting there like, oh, you know, trying to keep receipts. What about the receipts from the last 3 years that we've seen? Look, I'm sure Volpe's a great guy, but he sucks. Look, I had one more hope for Volpe, and that was this year. He sucks. I'm over it. I'm over the Volpe experiment. Now, could my opinion change if he goes out there and balls out, earns the job back? Sure. Because Volpe did initially earn the job. Peraza dropped the ball on that. But it's like, yeah, you got to go out there and earn the job. He should not be handed the reins to shortstop. You still spitting blood after the Blue Jays? I mean, I don't blame you. It's still fresh. What are you seeing from Jason next year? Jason needs to be the starting outfielder. Put him back in center field where he's most comfortable. He needs to be our starting outfielder for the entire year. Enough with the bullshit. Either you're going to use him or you're going to get rid of him. It's as simple as that. Either use him or get rid of him. Because, like, you're just standing in place when it comes to Jason Dominguez. You need to see Volpe make drastic swing changes. Yeah, absolutely. He needs to be more closed off and hit the ball to right field. Like, especially with the short porch in Yankee Stadium. Stop trying to be a pull hitter. You're not Aaron Judge, dude. You're not Aaron Judge rocking 11. Like, stop going up there and try, like, flatten out your swing. Whoever just subbed, appreciate you. Flatten up your swing, man. Use that athleticism to go from first to second, to go from first to third. Like, put the ball in play. Be a table setter. We don't need you. We don't need him and guys like Dominguez to hit home runs. We need them to be table setters. Get on base, especially if Volpe's at the bottom of the order. Set the table from the bottom. So that way, the second time through the order, you got guys on base. And I appreciate you, Dre, for sending me shit as well. Brian Cashman, whether Volpe is a starting shortstop or not. I think so. I believe the player still. It doesn't mean we don't play with all aspects of the roster assignment. He's 24 years old. Don't think New York Stage is too big for him. Okay. They want this man to work so bad. They want Volpe to be him so bad. Just so they can sit back and say, we were right and you guys were wrong. Chris Kirsten said they haven't had discussions with Scott Boras yet. That needs to be done ASAP. That needs to be done like tomorrow. As soon as free agency opens up, get it done. Appreciate you, Darren. Soon as free agency opens up, get it done. Brian Hoke, Anthony Volpe will begin the season on the injured list. Brian Cashman confirms he could return April and May, so he's going to miss the first month. So it's probably going to be more time than that, to be honest with you, because Josh Young had the same exact injury and he missed more time. He missed a month longer than what they're projecting. Like, I want Jose Caballero to get the starting spot if you're not going to make that trade. Look, if you want to sell me on you like Jose Caballero, what he brings off the bench, sure, I'm okay with that. But then you need to go out there and get yourself a shortstop, a viable option. Don't go out there and just get somebody that's going to hold it down until Volpe comes back. He's not a starting caliber shortstop. Is Cody Bellinger still on the contract? No, he's a free agent. He opted out. Brian Cashman on whether or not McMahon is an everyday third baseman or not. I'm happy to have him. He's our everyday third baseman. He was a real positive addition. He didn't rule out having a right-handed bat on third or on the bench. Ryan McMahon was a pleasant surprise. Like, he does strike out a lot. Regular season, not so much, but you can't deny that this guy did step up in the postseason. And you're getting a quality glove over there at third base. 2 subs from 2390, guys. What if we do Jose? What if Jose balls out in the beginning? You just sit him. That's what they're gonna do. You know that's what they're going to do, but they shouldn't. If Jose Caballero is up there batting 400 in the first month, you know the Yankees gonna be like, oh shit. Jose, can you do it from the bench? That's what they're gonna do. Ron, what up? Says fire Boone. Fire Boone. They're not firing him. They're not firing him. You're not having. Here's the thing, man, and I'm all for it, especially considering how good of a manager market that this year is. Bruce Bochy, Ron Washington, even though Ron Washington's dealing with health problems, Brian Snitker. Like, there's so many good manager options out there, and the Yankees are going to stick with Aaron Boone. This is the first year of his extension. They shouldn't have extended him. They should have rolled it out this year and then reevaluated. Because the Yankees think that, if Aaron Boone hits the market, he's going to be a hot commodity. Breaking news, he's not. He's not. What's up, Roy? But this is a good year for managers. Bruce Bochy, be a great manager. Me personally, I love Brian Snitker. How he got the most out of, he's the complete 180 of Aaron Boone. How he got the most out of that Atlanta team, especially once Ronald Acuna Jr. went down. And Aaron Boone underperformed with this Yankees roster. You heard rumors the Yankees might go after Pete Alonso. I'll believe that when I see it. I don't think that's the case. They're not going to want to pay him. They're not going to want to pay him top dollar like that. But nah, if you're not having a press conference with a guy and letting him, unless it's a public firing, which isn't the case, or unless they would have came out and said, "Hey, we're stepping down," they're not going anywhere. You're not having a public press conference from anybody, unless you're from these guys. If they're not going anywhere. All right, here's Brian Cashman on Volpe. Brian Cashman adds that he believes Volpe's shoulder did play a role in his performance this year.
We don't play with. You still see him as your starting shortstop once he's back?
I mean, I think so. I think, I believe in the player still. I think we believe.
They're going to give him the spot as soon as he gets back. Jose Caballero is pretty much going to be the stop holder. As soon as he gets back, Volpe's getting the shortstop spot back. It's fucking terrible.
Believe in the player. It doesn't mean that we don't play with, on any level, all aspects of roster assessments. He's 24 years old. I don't think New York stage is too big for him. It just, still finding his way. And the age is something that, there's a lot of value to reminding yourself about that. You see.
Age has nothing to do with it. I understand you're looking at it like 24 years old. Oh, what he could be. If he's still going to be shit when he's 28, what are you going to say for these next 4 years? Like, stop looking at, there are other valuable options out there. Age does not matter. That's one of the resounding factors that the Yankees are taking in. Oh, he's 24 years old. Come on, man. Come on, man. We might miss 2 years with a lockout. That'll put Volpe at 27. And then you're going to be like, well, he's still 27 years old. Bro, his first year was okay. The last 2 were shit. But he's 24 years old. That should not be the be-all, end-all because of his age. Like, there are other players that are just as young that are excelling. He's nowhere near any of the top shortstops. Like, it's crazy.
Whether it's in our sport,
Would I go after Ronald Acuna Jr.? I'd give up house money for Ronald Acuna Jr., but it's not going to happen.
Players that eventually figure it out.
You know who I would like, though? I'd hit up the Mets and say, what do you want for Luis Angel Acuna? I'd hit up the Mets and say, what do you want from him? Because they're kind of in the same situation where they got a good player down there, speedster. I think he's a stud, right? But they don't know what they want to do. But I'd hit up the Mets and say, what do you want for him?
You know, as they go down the line, you watch the NFL, these number one pick quarterbacks that franchise put everything in. You know, shortstop's kind of a quarterback position, center field catcher in baseball.
It's a whole different.
And you see that, you know, players that you know, you expect a lot, you know, early on for seasons, but then they're not living up to their growing pains, so to speak, as they go through getting their sea legs under them somewhere, and then they wind up in a different environment, and now they're leading their teams. And I'm sure there are various different reasons for it, but I think Boone was talking about it with you guys earlier. It's like sometimes this isn't linear. It's also not guaranteed, and that's why it's fair to always assess what you have and is it good enough, and do you need to replace it, and can you find better, and all that stuff. And that, I promise you, always takes place. But I believe in the player. I think we believe in the player.
Finding better. We have better on our team. Jose Caballero had a better year. Jose Caballero was more productive than Volpe in a much limited amount of time. You have better on your roster. You should start. They're going to start with that out of pure necessity because they have no choice. But when Volpe gets back, he should not be handed the job. I keep saying that shit.
I think the injury probably contributed to the performance season that he wound up having more so than we would have thought, based on our intimate involvement with him and our medical staff and how that played out, and the facts are the facts. He had to have a surgery that's going to take him down. He's not going to be ready for spring training, which therefore will put him out to start the season. He'll be on the IL and be ready sometime in April, maybe. You know, worst case scenario, May. But he's going to get a late start just because of that. So somebody will be playing shortstop, not him, opening day. But that doesn't, you know, that's not a good thing for us either. You know, I think missing him and not having him here as an option for us to be, you know, there is a problem. And, you know, I'm looking forward to getting a fixed Anthony Volpe back, so, you know, he can be deployed and help us win games.
It's exactly what I was just talking about. They're gonna live and die with this Anthony Volpe decision. They really are, because they have their ego on the line. It's their egos are on the line. His pride and their ego. They're going to go down with that. You disagree? What you think? What's a good thing? Yeah, they're gonna go down with Volpe. We're gonna see. They're gonna extend him. Like, he ain't going no fucking where, man. If he earns the job, so be it. But this shit is ridiculous. They're just gonna hand him the reins. Brian Cashman described Hal Steinbrenner as frustrated, disappointment, and he wants another championship here. Yet, where is he? Frustrated. Where? Can we see it? I want to see that video. Where's that video? We haven't seen Hal all year. Yeah, we do, Armani. We need people to put the ball in play. One of our best players, Cody Bellinger, is out there. You need to bring him back ASAP. He was one of our contact bats. We need people like Jorge Polanco. We need contact bats. As you just saw, we get beat by that in the postseason, because you can't just expect to hit home run or nothing. We get beat by shit like that. Yankees need to start adding stuff like that. Cody Bellinger is one of them. He thinks not having Volpe is a good thing. It's an excuse, man. It's just a fucking excuse, bro. Cashman on the Yankees coaching staff.
A different direction. When Aaron was in here talking about the staff changes, he said organizationally decided to go in a different direction. And in your eyes, what made those staff changes, specifically with Harkey and Chapman, necessary or needed?
Yeah, every year I'm charged with making some tough decisions. We have good people and unfortunately, and friendships too. But I have to assess everything in the present, and where we, go as we move forward. And again, our staff is, they work in tandem with each other in conjunction with our player group, and I just have to make tough decisions. So no one was per se terminated. These were expiring contracts. That the question is, are we going to offer a new opportunity moving forward? So I've made those decisions to make some changes and open up to evaluate opportunities in the marketplace to see if we can find some fits as we move forward into 2026 that make us better. But that's not to take away from the staff that I let go, who had obviously gave us a lot of great contributions along the way at the same time.
Rojas could be gone, which is fine. Bullshit answer. It's not the moves that we want. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're trying to make change just to say you made change, but you're not really making any major changes. What about the analytical department? Is anybody from there gone? Like, you're making minor changes just to say, hey, we did this. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, some of the guys might get promoted. Congratulations to them. Like, if Rojas gets promoted, congratulations. It would be a good opportunity for him. But it's just the Yankees are just gonna replace him with more fucking guys that think the same. Fireside Yankees. Brian Cashman's outlook on the offseason. I think we have a lot of quality that is currently here, but the job is always to find ways to get better. The job is to collect as much talent as you possibly can. Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see if the Yankees are aggressive this offseason after this embarrassment of a season. Got to be more proactive when it comes to it. I'm gonna stick around for a couple more minutes, guys. Then I got to head back out to work. See if anything else really good drops. The post, is it still going on? It is. Press conference is still going on. It just ended. It literally just ended. So I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes to see if anything else good drops. Yeah, talk is cheap. The Yankees will always talk the talk. I want to see the video. I want to see the video of them talking about Hal is frustrated. Why can't fucking Hal be at the press conference talking about how frustrated he is? Is he alive? Like, where the fuck is he? You haven't watched much MLB postseason. I paid attention to the score and stuff like that. All right, Roy, have a good one, brother. Guys, I do appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you guys hit that like if you guys are new, sub up. What's your opinion on David Ortiz and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. talking trash to the Yankees? That's what they do. They're two guys that hate the Yankees. To the victor go to spoils. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., this was his World Series. Yeah, Brian Cashman retaining Cody Bellinger. We talked about that. I don't know. We haven't gotten to those conversations yet. Yeah. So, but nah, look, to the victor go to spoils, Armani, at the end of the day, man. Like, the fucking Dodgers danced on our grave for a year. The Blue Jays are gonna try to do the same thing. Like, we're out here getting embarrassed. Somebody made a fucking song about the Yankees losing, and I think they sampled Vladimir Guerrero Jr. When will it stop? My question would be to them, when is enough enough? When are you guys tired of getting embarrassed as an organization instead of taking it up the ass? Like, when? Like, where's the Yankee pride? And until they start giving a fuck, it's going to continue to happen. Brian Hoke said Spencer Jones has put himself in the conversation to be an everyday major leaguer in 2026. Brian Cashman says, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I just read it, Dre. He was asked if Jones has an opportunity. Depends on how winter plays out. Yeah, we'll see. Prospect hugging. Yeah, he's got a chance. But they're going to do the same shit. They're going to do the same shit they did. They said the same shit with Dominguez. We're 2 subs from 2390. Hit that sub, guys. Yeah, the conference is over now. I just peeped it. I'm going to see if anything drops. I'll probably head out of here. I'm going to rock for another 14 minutes. Then I'm going to head out of here. I got to go back to work. All right, here we go. A little bit further. Fireside Yankees. Brian Cashman on if Spencer Jones is in consideration to be the opening day roster. I think he's put himself in a conversation. How it plays out depends on how our winter plays out. He's earned, without a doubt, the look and the competition. We'll see. We'll see. Make it open competition. Not just with him. Like, I'm gonna make a video. We're gonna have a lot. We're gonna talk about it. The possibility of, could we be seeing Dominguez and Spencer Jones next year instead of going to get Bellinger? Could the Yankees just stay in pat and actually play the guys, which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing? I know a lot of people, including my nephews, all for just playing the kids, but you got to bring a top tier talent as well. You can't just rely on that. Get ready for a 2026 failure. Oh, it'll be the same shit. We know it'll be. Like I said, the Yankee calendar. The Yankee calendar is undefeated. I think that might be all the videos. Yeah, I don't see anything new dropping. Like I said, nothing that they said really moves the needle. We got good news on Aaron Judge. Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole, Anthony Volpe aren't going to start the season. They got to go out there and add. They don't know what's going on with Cody Bellinger. Bunch of question marks, man. Like, bunch of bullshit answers, bunch of question marks. Let's check, see if Chris Kirshner posted anything else. I want to see some fire out of these fucks, man. For real, for real. Like, go out there and be aggressive this offseason. Because guess what? Next year, 2026, might be the last full year of baseball in a year or two after that. Because we might be heading to a lockout. Andy Martino was on WFAN talking about a lockout could last 2 years. That's the worst thing that could happen to the Yankees. Because that's 2 years of Aaron Judge's career that's out the window. He doesn't get any younger. He ain't staying the same age. That'd be 2 less years with Aaron Judge if we end up towards a lockout. So next year, yo, you talk about championship or bust. You're talking about next year. And guys like Kyle Tucker gonna want to get signed because you don't know what the CBA, you don't know what the contracts and stuff are gonna look like. You kind of want to get grandfathered into that. So, but it does look like that's a wrap for all the videos, guys. Nothing else is getting posted here. But like I said, there was nothing that they could have said. There was nothing they could have said here that would have moved the needle for me. And they just... Aaron Boone also repeated that Anthony Volpe shoulder impacted his performance. Doesn't believe that it impacted his performance. Yeah, that's bullshit. Brian Cashman, or whether he's trying to maximize the final years of Aaron Judge's prime. I just look at putting the best team available. I don't look at it as we have to maximize that. Okay. So you get a once-in-a-generation player, and you just cool with him being Don Mattingly. Now that's what it looks like to me. You're just cool with him being Don Mattingly. I gotta get rid of these fucks, man. We really do. Things aren't gonna change until they ultimately decide that they want to start fucking winning. And yet, one of the biggest things I want to see too, no fucking How. What the hell was How? How was nowhere to be found, which is ridiculous. This shit's ridiculous. It's gonna be more of the same shit next year. But I'm gonna be here covering that throughout the entire offseason, guys. I'll be trying to bring guests on as well. We'll be having in-depth conversations. Like I said, as opposed to last year, I'm not just dipping out for a month. I took a week off, came back yesterday. I'm back. I'm here. I appreciate you guys. If you guys rock with me this long, you guys are amazing. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe to the Ace Avenue for your Yankee covers, movies, and more by yours truly. I think that's a wrap, guys. I don't see any other videos dropping or any other comments dropping from Hoke, Kirshner, anybody, Fireside Yankees, anything. You think Cashman is still pissed Judge is a Yankee, not a Giant? Man, look. Fuck him, man. Brian Cashman would have let him walk. You just want Seattle Mariners to beat. You just want Seattle Mariners to beat the Blue Jays. It doesn't move. It doesn't move me in any way. If the Blue Jays win it, it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is making this Yankee team better. Okay, hold on. Okay, we got one more. This is the one I wanted to see.
With him in the after.
Great.
This video right here. Brian Cashman his conversation with Hal after the Yankees elimination.
Greg
Here we go.
And Eric. Greg and Eric.
You mentioned Hal. How would you describe what your conversations have been like with him in the aftermath of getting knocked out and how he's kind of taken it all?
Yeah, I mean, he's frustrated, disappointed. You know, he wants it. He wants a championship here, another one, just like, for him and his family. So I'll speak on behalf of Hal and his family.
You wouldn't have to speak on behalf of him if he just decided to show the fuck up. You wouldn't have to speak on behalf of Hal Steinbrenner, Cashman, if Hal just decided to show the fuck up. What kind of boss? Imagine if you were a boss of a company and you're having a press conference on how bad your workplace is and your owner doesn't even show the fuck up. Speaking on behalf of him, this dude didn't show up the entire year but to kiss Donald Trump's ass. Hal is a businessman. Can't take anything away from him. He doesn't love the Yankees as much as we do and as much as his father did. It's as simple as that. If he did, he would be front and center, taking the blunt of it, going down with the ship. But no, who knows where he's at? It's like they got this motherfucker locked up, feeding him stories that we're just as good as you think we are. We're not. And it starts with him. Where the hell is Hal? This shit is ridiculous, man.
They, I think, believed, not just recently, but many times that we had a chance to do something. But, it's not a given. If it was a given, and people who had that championship caliber gene that had punched through, if that gene was repetitive, and I'm not talking about a gene from handed down from father to son, like the great George Steinbrenner who belongs to the Hall
you
of Fame.
did. It almost slipped. No. Hold on.
Repetitive, and I'm not talking about a gene from through. If that gene was repetitive, and I'm not talking about a gene from handed down from father to son, like the great George Steinbrenner who belongs to the Hall of Fame, to his son. I'm talking about a gene of winning. There's many of
No. You heard that. It almost slipped out. Brian Cashman. We know it. We know it. He doesn't want to win like his father. It's okay if you say it. Just come out there and say he's a businessman. But don't try to sell us on this bullshit. Because you see, he tried to walk it back like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. That is what you meant. As we all say, he's not George. He's not. He doesn't have the passion and the fire of his father. He's not a fan of this team like that. He's a businessman. He's out there signing the checks. He doesn't have the passion of his dad. And probably never will. That's why George didn't want him to have the team. George didn't want any of his sons to have the team. Because he knew that they wouldn't love this organization like he did. Which is fucking sad.
Great player that maybe they punched through one time, or many a great manager that's punched through and won something. And we've done it, and Hal Steinbrenner's done it, but it doesn't guarantee, it's not a given that you're going to continually do it. You can have a good process. All you can count on is try to put together a strong process, really good people, try to get as many quality players that care and are committed and can stay healthy and play to the best of their abilities, for 6 months, and then into the different season, which is the postseason, and then and keep trying to do it again and again and again and again and again. And so he's frustrated because he knows, opportunity lost. I think for all of us, I think whether you're a player putting the uniform on or you're in the front office, people might get surprised at times. I'm more focused on the ones that got away. Like, yes, I've won some World Series, but the ones that I feel, there's a lot of them I feel like we should have won, could have won, but it is tough. it is really difficult to do, and it's easier to talk through or what have you, but actually for those guys in the competition, it's, you know, it's obviously something that we aspire to do once again, and in some cases aspire to do for the first time, and so whether it's controlling emotions, whether it's, you know, being at your best at the most important time on any given at bat, on any given pitch, and stringing that all together, that is what we continue to you know, fight for and try to find our way through it, and you know, and then trying to walk and talk through it after the fact is, you know, something we'd like to avoid. So so hopefully next year we'll find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, he almost let it slip. He basically almost said he's not George. He basically almost just said he's not George. It's not in his genes, guys. It's not in the genetics. This is a short one, 18 seconds. He says, our job to put together the talent and provide this team. It's their job to decide the lineups, who puts out a rotation, who is coming in from the pen, etc. Yeah, right. That shit is all preordained. We know. This shit's ridiculous, man. I'm glad I stuck around for that one. Yeah. He almost, y'all saw that. He almost slipped. It almost slipped. It's okay. He almost said what we all know. He's not Hal. He's not George. Hal is not George. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for me. I'm going to head out of here. I do appreciate all you guys that popped in today, everybody that subbed up. All the way up. There we go. Everybody that subbed up, you guys are amazing. I'm going to be covering this team all throughout the postseason, all throughout the offseason, I should say. No postseason for us. Also, I'm going to start stepping up on the movie stuff as well. So make sure you guys tune in. You guys are incredible. We rock it for a little over an hour. You guys are the best. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that sub on the way out. I'm going to see you guys soon. Have a good one, guys. As always, thank you for tuning into the Ace Avenue. I am yours truly, the Ace. Adios.